Good afternoon, Karen Dodd here from Wise Women Weekdays, and today I am with Chris on the Isle of Wight.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about water. So shall I just take it away there?
Tap water.
Tap water, even
Would
more
you like
important.
a drink of tap water?
I would love, well,
No.
from what you've just shown me actually, Chris, I wouldn't, but I'd like you to explain why I wouldn't.
Yes. Well, first of all, quite a few years back I was installing systems for filtering water. Just ordinary domestic systems like this. They fit under the sink. There's a tap which you drill a hole in the worktop, and that's your little tap.
But why would you be putting them in? I mean, this is somebody would request
Well,
something
because people didn't like the taste of the tap water, the chlorine, the nasty taste, and this removes that. It doesn't do really anything else. It's called a GAC filter. It's granulated activated carbon filter. So it takes out the smell and the taste.
Okay.
So for 20 years I've been installing these things, and I decided to open it up because it stopped lasting. After a few months.
What was the purpose of installing them then? To cleanse the water?
People said to me they don't like the taste of the water.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll put a water filter in for you.
Okay.
And after a while, they stopped working.
Right.
A couple of months, and I had to change it.
Yeah.
So then I opened up and had a look at what was inside, and it was really quite horrible what was inside.
Oh, all funny colours.
It was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And if you look at, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, that is tap water that has been through distillation, and there's nothing added and there's nothing taken away. This is from September 22. That is from September 23.
So that's coming out the tap. This is what you asked if I'd like to have a drink. Yeah?
That's straight out the tap. That's come out of a distillator.
So it's had a process already to
I've actually evaporated water off of that, and that was the residue left in the bottom. So that was the kind of muck that was coming in here,
right.
But it was actually a little bit worse because it was horrible, nasty.
Yeah.
And that's this year's.
So
there's a gap in the top because I'll probably add some more in there.
Right. Okay.
So I'm jumping ahead to the distiller, but that just shows you the sort of gunk.
You can see it in the bottom. I don't know on the camera. You can actually see like sediment.
It's calcium and muck, but they're all yellow. They're three different colours, and they're three different years. So the water hasn't improved over the last 3 years.
Yeah. But even though the colours have changed.
Well, it's just different substances of the water.
Right. Okay.
There's horrible nitrates and everything in there. So, and of course, a lot of people don't realise that the sewage treatment comes back to us.
So we drink our own.
We drink our own
urine,
recycled water.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, if they don't do it very well.
And also, I guess all this everything that goes through our body. So whether you're on medication or hormone replacement, anything, it's going through.
It goes straight out and then it comes back again. Now it's their job to remove that.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to remove chemicals like that.
Yeah.
Some people pour oil down the drains and runoff from the farms, nitrates and glyphosates that have been sprayed on the farms,
yeah, of course.
Straight into the water system. And if they can't remove that, we are then absorbing that, and our liver has to then deal with that.
Yeah. Right, it's quite scary, isn't it? So these are actually these bottles have already gone through a process.
Yes.
So do you have a sample of something that hasn't gone through a process at all, just straight from the tap before you?
That's ordinary drinking water.
Yeah.
Tap drinking water, that is.
Mm.
And if you look at, if you want to do a quick test, that's RO water.
What's RO?
Reverse Osmosis.
Okay.
So if we pour some in there, a very, very simple test that everyone can do. They can buy an £8 TDS meter, totally dissolved solids.
Right.
Right. The display says 000.
It does.
Okay, so if I put that into there, what does that say?
It's going up. It's 216.
So it's 216. That's 216 parts per million in the water. So if I put it into the RO water,
So that's the water that's gone through reverse osmosis.
what's that?
Wow, 0.03. So a lot cleaner.
It's a lot cleaner. Let me show you another thing. This is water butt.
A water butt from outside?
Yeah, from one of my
From the
water
rain?
butts, yeah. So that's tap water. RO, and what does that read?
That is now saying 0.30. Okay.
So that is actually cleaner
Then our tap water.
than tap water in content of water. There may be parasites in that, so
Yeah,
you
because
would,
it's outside.
you would have to boil that.
Right, to kill anything that's living.
But if you put that into a distiller,
Yeah,
which is here,
yeah,
this object here,
yeah.
that's simply you fill this container up, it heats up, it boils the water,
Yeah,
there are condensating coils at the top, that then fills up the glass container, and you have
distilled water.
pure distilled water.
So
So
can
if
I just ask about the distilled water? Because I've actually got one of these myself at home. I don't use. I used to make colloidal silver with it.
Yes,
But people say distilled water because apparently it's got absolutely nothing in it, or no minerals, no trace
No.
minerals at all. So therefore, are we not deficient if we're just consuming distilled water, or are you advocating to drink this or not? Because it doesn't have the minerals in. Because
No.
it's,
no, I wouldn't drink straight distilled
no,
water.
but I think the car likes it, doesn't it? I think we're supposed to put it in the car.
In the battery.
In the battery, distilled water.
I have this container here, and that is to top my water up in the car.
Right.
But that's the only thing I use tap water for.
Yeah.
This is now distilled water. And if I put this in here, what does that read?
That says 000.
Right, so that is pure
Right.
water. So reverse osmosis gets rid of about 90%, but there are little bits in there which remain in there. This is okay to drink, but it's
Not
acidic.
really. Yeah. Oh, okay.
It has the the pH level of 6.
Right.
It's like
Right.
coffee.
Yes, it's
You
quite
shouldn't
high.
do that. All you need to do is to make that alive again.
Yeah.
Is pH drops.
Okay.
So one drop will bring it to the pH level of 7.3, which is what we should be drinking.
Right.
The only good thing about tap water is the pH is perfect. It's
Okay.
normally between 7.3 and 8.3. That's the only thing they get right.
Right. So maybe they work on that. And when you say they, these are the water companies around
This
the
is the
country.
water companies, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was dead water. I've now balanced the pH.
Yeah.
And now I use this. This is 40,000 volts. It's a trace element. All it is are minerals.
Right.
Are
Which is
essential minerals. So
Right.
what we do is I put a couple of drops in there,
yeah.
and that now is very nice drinkable water.
Right. And it's good for you.
Flat. It's very flat. And we talked about if you want to jump to structuring, just to make
Well,
it
before we go to structuring, can I just ask, because I won't remember, about reverse osmosis. How does that procedure work? What does it actually mean when you're talking about RO?
I can show you the device. If
Okay,
you
we'll
bring the
bring the
camera,
camera.
I'll show you the device.
So we're going into the kitchen. Hopefully I can film this. Yes, there. Right.
That is a reverse osmosis system.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 stages here. I've removed the 5th stage because all it does is remove taste, and there is no taste
Yeah.
once it's gone through. This is the membrane. This is where all the work is done. The water comes in here, and you can start. Oops.
Whoops. Cupboard's
The
falling
cupboard's
apart.
fallen apart. You can start to see some of the colouring going.
Right, okay.
So what's happening there is that's the first stage filter. That is removing some of the nasties.
Right,
And then you've got a coconut carbon, and then you've got a solid carbon block.
right.
And then it goes through the membrane. That is what clears it, but it needs water pressure.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't take that much room. A lot of people are saying it takes loads of room. So you've got that piece,
Yeah.
and then you've got the storage container, which is underneath there.
Right. So the big white tank.
Yes. Now, I've added an extra layer to it, which is this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's...
Oh, that even comes out. Oh, you're
Yeah,
a bit of a
that-
handyman, aren't you?
That slides out.
Right.
That is a resin filter. That's what makes it 000.
Is that, and so all that gunk in there?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That is all the last stage gunk that gets through. Now, we do drink RO water.
Yeah.
It is drinkable, and it's the second preference. I also use it to clean windows.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Because the
Yeah,
new water
see,
cleaning system is pure water.
Right.
And it's the water molecules just takes all the dirt off, and then they don't
Okay.
even need to dry it. It just
Okay.
dries by itself.
So there is
beautifully clear.
benefit. Wow.
Yeah.
So for most of us in this country, I mean, obviously, if you've got a different water company, I presume the water is being treated differently. I could be wrong there.
I think it's all the same.
It's all the same.
I
Okay.
think everywhere I've been, even down to Cornwall, it's a little bit nicer down there.
Yeah.
The water's softer,
Yeah.
but we still have contaminated water.
And so what we just saw then, I mean,
Reverse osmosis.
yeah, but the tube with gunk, that was all yellow. If we're not doing the reverse osmosis or other means of cleaning our water, we are consuming that. That's
Yes, you
going
are.
into your body.
Yes, you are.
Ooh.
So the best thing, that's the cheapest thing to do,
Yeah.
is to have a distiller.
Okay.
And that's just a very simple
Yeah.
device.
Swapping positions here. And so, are you distilling every piece of or every glass of water that you consume? So
Yes.
before you have your coffee,
Yes.
your okay.
Yes, my coffee machine, I use distilled water. When we go on holiday, I have a container,
Yeah.
a 10 litre or 25 litre container, RO, because it's quicker to produce,
Yeah.
and we take that with us. We'll drink that.
Okay.
For a few weeks, it's not a problem.
Because water doesn't really go off, does it? I mean, it can go a bit manky.
It can
It's
go
contained.
manky because if you don't protect it from the sunlight.
Oh, it's the sunlight, not air
Yes.
getting at it.
No, I have a container here which I have.
Repeat a moment here. I'll leave it
There you go. That's water which I protect.
Right, oh, from the sun.
But I take it one stage further, is I use reverse osmosis in my distiller.
How do you do that?
You simply having almost clean water to perfect water.
Right.
The reason I do that is I don't have to clean the machine out.
So you're putting RO water in there, okay, because it does get very chalky and stuff, doesn't it?
It doesn't when you use RO water.
Ah, okay, cool.
So you need to clean that out if you're using tap water.
Right.
Just ordinary tap
Right,
water.
okay.
So that's then. You've got dead water.
Yeah.
And you've got water which is alive.
Because you put in the trace minerals.
And what we normally always do as well is, this is just a coffee whisk.
Yeah, yeah.
Now some people use funnels and they fold the water. It's basically emulating the water running down a stream.
Right, okay, so it's giving like life.
Yeah, so if you do that,
Okay.
see the vortex at the bottom there?
I was going to say vortex. Yes, I've got a machine that creates vortex water. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, lovely. Oh, wow.
Try it.
I will. Cheers. Thank you. Tastes good.
It does.
Yeah, or it tastes like water. It doesn't
Yes.
taste like chlorine or all that other stuff. Sometimes you go to people's houses and you
Yeah.
go, that's really
I
nice.
mean, you can drink RO water.
Mm.
And you can do exactly the same process. You can put pH liquids in there,
Yeah.
and then you put minerals in there. If you don't want to use purchased minerals like that, you can use Celtic salt.
Right. Okay. Oh, so you get the water to this level, you're the distilled, and then you just plonk a handful of the salt in.
Or Himalayan salt.
Himalayan salt,
They're
which I know
very
is very good for
similar.
you. It's like, yeah.
I think that has 82 minerals and that has 83 minerals.
Oh.
It's just got extra magnesium in it.
And we need this, especially the magnesium. We need
Yes,
all these
we
minerals.
do.
Our body does require them.
Yes, we do. It's the most important mineral.
The magnesium.
Yes. That's, not a lot of people like the look of that because it's grey.
Yeah.
But
No, but I actually use Himalayan salt for cleansing. Like with the coconut. What do you call it? Coconut pulling.
Pulling,
And then
yes.
sometimes like for brushing your teeth, and then a cleanse if I've had a dental treatment.
Yes.
Salt, rinse out. Not very nice, but very very good for you.
You can use olive
good for
oil
you.
as well.
And olive oil, yeah, for all these puddings. So what took you on this path then, Chris? Why did you start looking into water? Did something, wake you up to it? Or because
It was going back to this filter, and when I
Yeah.
opened that up, and thought it was disgusting, and then of course because of the stand, when we used to go to the stand, I used to take these bottles and say, this is from my distiller. So when you distill this water,
Yeah.
you always end up with a residue,
Yeah.
which you throw away.
Yeah.
That's the residue
Wow.
from the machine.
Which I don't know if they can see there again, just so that you can see. Again, Blue Peter moment, one we did earlier. Wow.
And it's quite horrible. Now your body has to process that. Your
Yeah, of
liver
course.
has to take all the toxins out of that, and
Yeah.
the gunk, and horrible things that
Yeah.
are in there.
So, I mean, you're not a doctor, but I'm not a doctor either. However, you can see it's putting, stuff in your body that shouldn't be there.
No.
So it's going to
No.
probably cause some sort of distress to the body.
But just think
Some
how
health
hard it
issues.
is to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I've tested our water. There isn't a lot of fluoride in it.
Right.
A little bit of fluoride.
Yeah.
And I use what's called a standard. That's fluoride.
Okay, is it?
That's actual fluoride. It's called a fluoride standard.
Right.
What you do is you measure the water against the standard.
Yeah.
And then you can gauge how much, using this device,
Right.
how much fluoride's in there. There isn't
Okay.
a lot in there at the moment.
However, some people say fluoride is very good for us. What would you say about that?
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's a neurotoxin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's
can
a
you
neu-
explain more what a neurotoxin is and where?
A neurotoxin affects the, I think your deep, all the parts of your body that you need to. I'm not a doctor,
No, okay,
and I'm not
but
going
it's
to
not.
profess to be
No,
an
no,
expert
no,
in that.
no, but
But it's the biggest problem that humans have is toxemia,
yeah,
which is toxins
yeah,
of any kind. A neurotoxin affects the neurological side of it, so it
Right.
goes into the brain, and it affects
I think
muscles.
and I believe it dumbs you down a little bit from what I
They
understand.
say it attacks the pineal gland.
Yes. Yeah,
So-
yeah, like your third eye. And it's actually a waste product from what I understand.
It is.
So I believe it's a
It's
waste
from
product.
aluminium.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then we're encouraged to use it. The dentists say use it, and it's in the toothpaste.
They
But
had to get rid of it.
yeah.
So I have a whole house fluoride filter, which is that,
Okay.
and that's in the water.
So I'm gonna move that up to the camera.
That's up in the loft.
Right. Gosh, you've really taken to this.
Oh, yeah.
You're serious, aren't
Oh
you?
yeah, oh yeah. Even when you bathe, your
I was going to ask because
skin can
it
absorb it.
absorbs because we don't.
Yes.
I mean, skin is our biggest organ, isn't it? And we just
Yes.
take it for granted. And
I've-
yes, it does absorb.
I've written a couple of documents, what
Yes.
we call white papers. I'll give you the digital copies of
Thank
these, and
you.
you can post them.
Yes,
That's
thank
water
you.
filtration systems,
Yeah.
and that's how to remove fluoride from water.
Right. Okay. So if
I'll give you those electronically.
Thank
and you
you.
can post them.
yeah, if anybody's interested in this, just put something in the comments or message me, and
Yes.
then I can get these to you.
And in that document as well, we talk about pH levels.
Yeah.
So the only way really is to kill the water completely,
Right.
then reactivate
Start
it.
again.
Because once you've got a clean platform to
Yeah.
work from,
Yeah.
and that explains to you acidic
Yes.
and alkaline.
alkaline.
We need to be alkaline.
We do because disease apparently can't
If you
can't
keep
survive.
your body
Yeah.
alkaline, then you
Yeah.
can do that. And you can adjust to how many drops you have too.
Yeah.
And you can test it simply by using one of these gauges, that's a pH meter,
Yeah.
or you can just use simple
Right.
test
Yeah.
strips.
Yeah. I have those. I think I have them. Well, you can wee on them, can't you?
You
Actually.
Yeah,
to
you
see
can
what
use
your-
saliva tests
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And it's like
And you
yes.
can also do it in water.
Yeah.
You can check what the pH
Lots of
level of the
ways.
water is. So
So
by adding extra drops,
Mhm.
you can increase the alkalinity of the water.
Yeah.
So if you want more alkalinity,
Yeah.
the other thing to do is just put lemon in there,
Oh, lovely.
because lemon is acidic, but your
Yeah.
body converts it into alkaline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. And I think cucumbers, you quite often go to places now, a glass of water, and they've got lemon or they've got cucumber, and it's very, very yummy, actually, but unless it's tap water. So sometimes the lemon hides it. So you've really gone to town on this, and is it, it looks like a life's work here, but obviously
No.
when you're interested in something,
It's not life's work. I mean, I've always installed filter systems for people
that as a job, as a
as a
commercial
job.
business, yeah.
And then when I retired, I started looking more deeply when I
Yeah.
started to get concerns about what the water company was doing or what it's not doing,
Yes,
also discharging into the sea
Yes.
at huge rates.
yeah,
And people need to see what is actually in the water.
yeah. And if they wanted to set something up like you've got, I mean, how would they go about it? Where would they start?
Well, you can buy very cheap systems. People
Yeah.
say, well, I think it's going to be very expensive. but they're not actually that expensive.
You just get them online, or is there a
You can buy them online. This is from a company called ve.pdf, and they start off at £129.
Okay.
And they go upwards depending how much.
Yeah.
And these are motors. So this is actually motor driven. It's not just pressure.
Okay.
I find this is a bit better and it's quicker.
And so what was the name? I'm trying to
ve.pdf.
ve.pdf.
But they're,
V-A-I-R?
V-Y-A-I-R.
Okay. Oh, ve.pdf. It's not on there, that's why it's difficult. Okay, ve.pdf, but you can look into finding that online.
And if you're really serious and you really want clean water, you'll find space for it.
Of course.
If
of course. Yeah.
I've shown this to people.
Well, there's a saying, isn't there? Yeah, you can take a horse to water.
And they say, oh well, never mind.
I know, and then they turn the tap on. I know. So just on that basis, if you don't want to go through all this, and it is a lot of work, but you know, if you want to keep healthy, it's probably worth it. Have you tested bottled water or water in glass bottles?
Yes.
Go on.
Yes.
And?
I bought bottled water, different makes, expensive makes.
Yeah.
I've tested them and it's tap water.
Oh my word! Well, the same as. I mean, you haven't got a Del Boy moment there, have you?
No, it's the same. I mean, you can make a lot of money just getting
Del Boy did. Do you remember that?
Water,
yeah. Only fools and horses. Yeah.
It's exactly that. And I've even put it in here, and that's ended up with such a white scum at the bottom.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was.
Gosh.
So it could be chalk, it could be other things,
So
it could be aluminium.
So you're advising us not to go and buy
bottled
water.
water's no different.
And even if it's in a glass bottle, because I know people say don't have it in the plastic because of the PVC. Glass bottle, it's still Del Boy water, as I'm going to call it.
Del Boy water.
Del Boy water. Wow, very, very interesting.
The easiest and simplest way is to get a distiller.
Okay, and use it. I've got one and I don't use it enough.
And use it, yeah. And then activate the water. And it becomes a habit.
Yeah, like brushing your teeth.
It's a faff at first. Oh, have I got to put that in? Have I got to put that in? I mean, you don't have to structure the water, but
the structure is when you turn it round and round.
Yeah, when you vortex the water, what happens is you link all the water molecules together.
Yeah.
And it looks crystalline.
Yes.
It looks like crystal, and when you taste it, it's creamy.
Wow. Yeah.
It's creamy. Some people can detect that more than others.
Yes.
But that's all you need, those two items. And if you do that every single time, pour some water.
Yeah.
That does 4 litres. I've got another one which is 6 litres, and I run that every 2 days.
Okay. So like you say, it's just a habit.
Yeah.
Isn't
it's
it?
a habit.
That's all you have to do.
That's all you do.
There's 2 things I was going to ask. I've forgotten the first one. The second one was, have you noticed any benefits, in your own health?
Yes.
You have.
Yes. My wife.
Yeah.
More so than anyone else.
Really,
yes.
That's amazing as well. So it's really, and the other
hugely.
And the other thing was, I was going to say, is what we comprise. I mean, what we're 70, 80, 90%.
It's 73%.
73% water.
Yes.
So you've either got gunk going around your system, or you can have something more.
The body is miraculous.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It cleans everything up, but again, then you end up with liver problems.
Well, it's like a car, isn't it?
Yes.
You have a nice car, you buy it, it's brand new, and if you don't put the right fuel in or look after it, then it's gonna.
And when you damage your liver, it regenerates.
Exactly.
It's the only organ that does.
Thank you, liver. I mean, we should be grateful for our body, shouldn't we? What it does, it is a miracle.
There is a lot of people which I've been reading talk about hydrogen water.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Well, that's a device that creates hydrogen water.
Right.
It's very simple.
So what exactly is hydrogen water? I'm getting my luck with H2O now. H2O is water, hydrogen. Oh, this is the thing that I think I've got like a vortex.
Water is oxygen and hydrogen.
Right.
And what this does, this splits it.
Oh.
What you see there is hydrogen.
Right.
Now you can't taste it.
Yeah.
And it's explosive.
Right.
And this would work in a car. And
when you say it would work, you just plug it in?
If you injected hydrogen into your car
I see the car
and oxygen, you then have an explosive mixture. Stanley Meyer, my sort of teen hero, created a beach buggy, ran on water.
Okay.
That's that principle.
Stanley Meyer.
Well, sadly, he was poisoned after a meal with a CIA, I believe.
Really?
And his family disappeared.
Wow.
And all his equipment's gone.
Okay.
But that is hydrogen. And you can drink it. You can drink that in a minute if you like. You can try it. I use this when I go out on my bike.
Yeah.
I fire this off. Then I put minerals in it. and I drink that on my bike ride.
Fantastic.
And it's real. It gives you huge boosters.
Push up that hill.
Yeah, I can't give you measurable figures.
No, but you
but
just know.
I feel
you can
the
feel
difference.
it. You can feel it.
Because when and of course I put extra minerals because this is also used by bodybuilders.
Okay.
Or runners.
Right.
You put that in there, and that's all the minerals you need. It's only the minerals you need. There's nothing else.
So it's like natural steroids, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this one again was called Trace
Element, and it's 40,000 volts.
Wow.
It's in my little.
It's in your literature.
It's in my literature. Yeah.
And the final thing, unless there's anything you wanted to say, is this.
Yeah, you've been looking at that. It's lovely. It's
copper.
It's pure copper.
Yeah.
I put distilled water in there.
Yeah.
And store it. It takes the final any little nasty bits in there.
Right.
If you go into the Middle East, a lot of people use copper to store their water.
Yes.
And then drink it straight away.
Yeah.
Because it purifies the water.
Right.
So it's an extra final stage.
So we couldn't just fill that with tap water. We're still going to get all that gunk in there.
You still have the gunk in there.
Yeah.
If in emergency, you can buy something like this with a UV filter in the top.
Okay.
So you can go and dip it in the stream, fill it up, wait half an hour, and then drink it.
Right.
So you may get nitrates in the water, but if you need water,
right, if you're desperate,
right. You're going to drink it.
Yeah,
but that takes parasites in.
I was going to say the little creepy
it's the parasites. It's the same as the water tap. That's I wouldn't say it's cleaner.
No, I mean I think
water.
We do have parasites, but there's some we don't really
want. Well, I believe that we live in symbionts with them.
Yeah, we're their home, aren't we? Sounds a bit odd.
Yeah.
But some parasites you probably don't want in your body.
No.
Yeah, superb, absolutely superb.
And I think just the last thing.
Yeah. Yes.
This is just the last thing which I like to show.
Yeah.
Now this has been knocked.
Make sure I'm drinking the right water here.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
So what I'm doing now, this is called an electrolyzer. Now it's been really knocked on YouTube and other fact checkers.
Yep.
They say this is rubbish, it doesn't work. Anyway, we've got tap water and we've got RO water, not distilled. And what's happening is it passes an electrical current from one electrode to the other.
Right.
The electrical current needs contaminants in the water to work. If there's no contaminants in the water, it doesn't work.
Okay.
And that is again the same principle used in this hydrogen generator.
Right.
There is a plate in there
right.
which reacts.
Let's bring that one forward so people know, because there's so many different sorts of water we've been talking about. So it's a similar sort of process as what's going on here.
That's it. Exactly the same process. Yes.
Same as.
It's electrolytic.
Oh wow.
So now you can see.
Now
this is stuff that's in the water. I can't tell you exactly, but what happens on one of the electrodes, you start to get this black formation coming out.
Okay.
So that could be nitrates, there could be chemicals in the water.
Yeah.
That's not distilled, that's RO water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that's been going long enough, I don't think we need to run it much longer. But, and it's warm, feel the glass.
Oh gosh.
So electrical current has been going through that.
Wow.
Would you like to drink it?
No, thank you very much, I'm full.
But anyone opening up a tap and having a drink, I mean, that's tap water.
And that's gone through RO though, it's gone through reverse osmosis procedure.
No, this is tap water.
Oh, that's pure, beg your pardon.
This is RO.
Right, that's the
whole point. The
one
with the green label.
That's the whole point. So that's come from the tap.
And there's a slight discoloration, but very little. In fact, I can hardly see it. Can you see a little bit of a yellowing?
Not really.
No, there is a fraction of yellowing, but that's...
No, but you're the expert, you know what you're looking for.
That's just because the water's pretty clean.
Goodness. So what about, because this reminds me of a pint of, sort of half a pint or a little pint of beer. So beer's made of water, isn't it, and hops. Have you gone down that path?
No, because you can't test it properly because it's got
stuff.
the yeast and other things. It's gone through a process, but the water they use is the same.
Right, okay. I think in days way back, they used to drink, was it beer or cider and port because the water was so bad?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why they always used to keep the port or the wine in ceramic urns.
Ah.
And again, this is where the copper comes in.
Right.
For those who could afford it, they used to have copper urns.
Look at me. Gosh.
And the water used to purify itself.
Fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Got anything else you'd like to say, add, or express to people who are watching this?
Don't drink the water.
Don't
drink the tap water.
Don't drink the water. Wasn't that an old saying at some stage? Or they put something in the water? Well, yeah.
Well, that's how they're poisonous, isn't it?
Yes.
If you want to knock a lot of people out.
Yeah.
What's the V for Vendetta?
V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta. And I can't remember because our video went a bit wonky to start with, but we talked about you contacting the people that represent us.
The water company.
Yes, and they didn't want to. Did we talk about that? I don't know if we might be on repeat here, but we've had to re-talk because my camera.
We can talk about that very briefly.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a letter I had from Southern Water.
Yes.
And they basically told me that you can see what we test for, and I don't know how accurate that is. I mean, there's loads of it there. Loads of it.
And this is just through a freedom of information request, FOI.
But when you, yes, they said they're not beholden to that because they're a private company. And basically they don't need to tell us what they can't take out.
Whoa, interesting.
Like
interesting.
medicines, which is the biggest problem that we face, nitrates, glyphosates and chemicals which go into the water. Now to get rid of some of the things they say they do, they get rid of medicines. They have to use some very harsh chemicals, then they have to use other chemicals to remove those chemicals.
Okay.
But that's why they don't tell you what they use.
Yeah, chemical on chemical makes another chemical.
Yes. So
wow, I'm surprised they're not blowing up.
I got to the point where I stopped believing everything I was told. I don't believe anything I was told until I can prove it.
Yeah.
And then I just decided, right, I've got to kill the water completely, completely purify it, and then reactivate it.
Yeah.
Then you can drink it.
Wow. Interesting. Fascinating.
And tea doesn't get scum. I can show you my kettle. There's absolutely no calcium build up in there.
Yeah. So you are proof. Proof is in the pudding, which I like because, like you say, question everything. And that's my adage. Question everything and anybody. Even if you've got a laboratory coat or a doctor's coat or a suit on, we do a quick swap here.
They could be paid. So that's the inside of my distiller. Which
is very clean compared to mine. Because I just thought it's chalk. I live in a chalky area and I think, it's the chalk. Yeah. And I don't know if chalk's good for somebody says, oh, chalk's okay for you. I don't know. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Chris.
You're welcome.
And if anybody wants further information, put a comment on the bottom of this video and we can send you electronically the information.
I'll give you the documents I wrote that will help people.
Will help you. So if you have liked this, please like it, please subscribe to the channel, please comment, and then you'll get more information from us. Yes. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm coming over to turn it off now. I've got my little clicker. So I'm going to come over